The notification lit up my phone at 0300 hours in Kandahar. Through the dust and exhaustion of a 16-hour patrol, I squinted at the message from my brother Marcus. The house sold fast. Your stuff is in storage. Thanks for your signature. I stared at the screen, certain I was hallucinating from sleep deprivation. Our mother's house. The one she'd left to both of us when she passed 8 months ago. The one I'd specifically told him not to touch until I returned from deployment. I never signed anything. My name is Staff Sergeant James Sullivan, and I was 10,000 miles away from home, serving my country in Afghanistan. While I was dodging IEDs and protecting convoys, my own brother was apparently selling our childhood home and forging my signature to do it. I tried calling him immediately, but the connection was trash. All I got was static and dropped calls. By the time I managed to get through on a satellite phone 2 days later, Marcus was already celebrating. Jimmy. His voice was unnaturally bright, the way it got when he was hiding something. Got your text. Yeah, amazing, right? The market was hot, and this couple offered 20% over asking. Had to move fast. Marcus. My voice was steady despite the rage building in my chest. I never signed anything. I told you to wait until I got back. Silence. Then a nervous laugh. Come on, you did. Remember? I sent those DocuSign papers like 3 months ago. You probably forgot with everything going on over there. I didn't forget anything. I never received any papers. I never signed anything. Well, it's done now, he said quickly. Your half is already in escrow. Minus the repairs and staging costs, of course. And the realtor fees. But you'll still clear about 80 grand. 80 grand. The house was worth at least 400,000 in that neighborhood. Our mother had maintained it perfectly for 40 years. Where's my stuff? Storage unit on Riverside. I'll text you the details. Look, I gotta run. We'll sort everything when you're back. He hung up before I could respond. I stood there in the middle of the base, surrounded by the sounds of war, feeling more betrayed than I'd ever felt facing enemy fire. That house wasn't just property. It was where Mom taught me to ride a bike in the driveway. Where she planted roses every spring. Where she took her last breath holding both our hands. And Marcus had stolen it. 2 weeks later, I managed to get emergency leave. My commanding officer understood. Family estate issues were considered valid emergencies, especially when fraud was suspected. The flight home was the longest 20 hours of my life. I went straight from the airport to the storage unit. My key didn't work. The manager, a sleepy-eyed kid who couldn't have been older than 19, checked his computer. Says here the unit was cleared out yesterday. Guy showed ID, said he was the owner's brother picking things up for him. Everything I owned. My furniture, my photos, my medals, my letters from Mom. Gone. I drove to Marcus's apartment in a rage I'd only felt in combat. But his neighbor told me he'd moved. Yeah, bought some fancy condo downtown. Must have come into money. The next stop was our mother's house. I had to see it, even if it belonged to strangers now. The new owners were a young couple, the Whalens, and they were surprisingly kind when I explained who I was. Your brother said you were deployed and had signed everything electronically, Mrs. Whalen said, looking troubled. He seemed so genuine. Even showed us family photos. Ma'am, I hate to tell you this, but I never signed anything. Whatever signature he showed you was forged. Their faces paled. Mr. Wayland immediately pulled out his phone. We need to call our realtor. Gloria Patterson. She handled everything. That name stopped me cold. Gloria Patterson wasn't just any realtor. She was known for being the most meticulous, by-the-book agent in the state. She'd handled our parents' purchase of the house 30 years ago. An hour later, I was sitting in Gloria's office. She was exactly as I remembered, sharp-eyed, silver-haired, and taking no nonsense from anyone. James Sullivan, she said, studying me carefully. I remember you. You were at your mother's funeral. In uniform. Yes, ma'am. I shipped out 2 weeks later. She pulled out a thick folder. Your brother provided power of attorney documents and a digital signature authorization. I verified them through the standard channels. She paused, looking troubled. But something bothered me about the sale. That's why I kept copies of everything. What bothered you? Your mother, she said simply. She came to me 6 months before she passed. Said she wanted to make sure the house stayed protected while you were deployed. She was very specific. Nothing was to be done with the property without both sons present in person. My throat tightened. Even dying, Mom had tried to protect me. Gloria continued. When Marcus said you'd authorized the sale from Afghanistan, it didn't sit right. But the documents looked legitimate. The notary seal, the witnesses. Can I see them? She handed me the papers. I recognized the forgery immediately. It was good, but Marcus had made one crucial mistake. He dated the documents 3 days after I'd been in a communications blackout during a major operation. There was no way I could have signed anything or communicated with anyone during that period. I can prove I was on a mission during these dates, I said. No internet, no phone, no outside contact. My CO can verify. Gloria's face hardened. If that's true, this isn't just fraud. It's federal crime. Interstate fraud, forgery, and theft of military personnel property while deployed. She picked up her phone. I'm calling my attorney. And the police. And the title company. She paused. The Whalens are good people. They don't deserve this mess. But that sale is going to be reversed, and your brother is going to face consequences. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind. The title company launched an immediate investigation. The notary who had supposedly witnessed my signature couldn't explain discrepancies in his log. Under pressure, he admitted Marcus had paid him $5,000 in cash to backdate documents. The Whalens, horrified at being caught in fraud, cooperated fully. They'd already started renovations, spending thousands, but they wanted out. We can't live in a stolen house, Mrs. Whalen said. The police arrested Marcus at his new condo. He'd spent lavishly, new car, expensive furniture, a boat. All purchased with money from our mother's house. They found my belongings in his second bedroom, including Mom's jewelry he'd claimed was lost. When the detective called me, Marcus was in custody. He's looking at serious time. Federal charges because you're active military. The FBI is involved now. But the call that broke Marcus completely came from Gloria. I was there when she made it, sitting in her office as she dialed his lawyer. I've been in real estate for 40 years, she told the attorney. I've seen all kinds of family disputes. But forging military personnel documents while they're deployed in a war zone? Stealing from someone serving our country? That's a special kind of evil. She paused. I'm testifying. I'm providing every document. And I'm personally ensuring every realtor in the state knows what he did. He'll never buy, sell, or rent property in this market again. Marcus tried calling me from jail. I didn't answer. But his lawyer reached out with a plea offer. If I didn't press charges, he'd return everything and pay restitution. I sat in Mom's empty house, surrounded by boxes of my recovered belongings, and thought about mercy. About forgiveness. About what Mom would want. Then I looked at her photo on the mantle, the one where she's standing proud at my basic training graduation. No deal, I told the lawyer. He made his choice when he decided to steal from a soldier. From his own brother. While I was serving our country. Marcus got 7 years federal time. The house was returned to me. The Whalens, despite everything, became friends. They'd been victims too. Gloria refused her commission from the fraudulent sale and helped me find a property manager for when I returned to deployment. But the real justice came from something Mom had done. Gloria handed me an envelope at our final meeting. Your mother gave me this. Said to only give it to you if something happened with the house while you were gone. Inside was a letter in Mom's shaky handwriting. My dear James, if you're reading this, then Marcus has done what I feared he might. I've watched him grow jealous of your service, your integrity, your strength. I've seen how he looks at material things. The house is yours, son. I left it to both of you in the will to avoid conflict, but I always intended for you to have it. You're the one who understands what home really means. Take care of my roses. Love, Mom. Below was a second will, properly witnessed, leaving the house solely to me. Dated a week before she died. Even from beyond, she'd protected me. I kept the house. Hired a gardener to maintain Mom's roses while I finished my deployment. And when I finally came home for good, I found Marcus's high school trophy in a box. The one for Best Brother from some long ago charity event. I mailed it to him in prison with a note. You were once. I hope you find that person again. Because that's what Mom would have wanted. Not forgiveness. She was too practical for that. But hope. Hope that the brother I'd once had might someday return. The house still stands. The roses still bloom. And every spring I plant new ones. Some things are worth fighting for. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. And sometimes, justice comes from the most unexpected places. Like a meticulous realtor who remembered a dying woman's wishes and refused to let them be forgotten. Marcus still has 4 years left on his sentence. The house will be waiting when he gets out. Whether he'll be welcome inside is a decision I'll make then. For now, I'm home. And that's all that matters.